The ballroom of the Riverside Medical Center glittered with chandelier light and the carefully orchestrated glamour of a major medical awards ceremony. 300 physicians, hospital administrators and healthcare executives filled tables draped in white linen, champagne flutes catching the light as they toasted the evening's honorees. At the head table, my mother sat in a designer gown I knew cost more than my monthly rent, her smile radiant as colleagues congratulated her on winning the prestigious Humanitarian Physician of the Year award. I sat 3 tables back, feeling the throb behind my right eye that had started an hour ago intensify into something sharp and wrong. My vision had begun to blur at the edges, the elegant room swimming slightly whenever I turned my head too quickly. "You okay?" my boyfriend Marcus whispered, his hand finding mine under the table. "You look pale." "Just a headache," I said, though the words felt thick in my mouth. 26 years old, in good health, probably just stressed from the last-minute invitation to this event. Mom had called 2 days ago, her voice tight with barely concealed annoyance. "Olivia, I need you at the awards ceremony. My mentor Dr. Elizabeth Reeves is flying in from the Mayo Clinic to present my award. Family presence looks good. Try to look presentable and please don't mention your little graphic design business. These are serious medical professionals." The throb sharpened. I pressed my fingers to my temple, trying to massage away the pressure that seemed to be building behind my skull like a wave about to break. "Ladies and gentlemen," the MC's voice boomed through the sound system, "it's my honor to introduce our next award presenter. Dr. Elizabeth Reeves has spent 40 years revolutionizing emergency medicine and stroke care. She mentored many of tonight's honorees during their residencies, including our Humanitarian Physician of the Year. Please welcome Dr. Elizabeth Reeves." Applause filled the ballroom as an elegant woman in her late 60s approached the podium. Even from my distant table I could see the sharpness in her eyes, the kind of focused intelligence that missed nothing. The numbness started in my left hand. At first I thought my arm had fallen asleep from the awkward angle I'd been holding it. I flexed my fingers trying to restore sensation, but the tingling spread instead of receding. Up my forearm into my elbow, a creeping absence of feeling that made my breath catch. "Marcus," I whispered, but my voice sounded strange. Slurred. "Wrong." He turned immediately, his expression shifting from concern to alarm. "Live your face." I tried to speak again, but half my mouth wouldn't cooperate. The words came out garbled, nonsensical. The throb in my head had become a scream, and suddenly the left side of my body felt distant, disconnected, like it belonged to someone else. "We need help," Marcus said, already standing, his voice cutting through the polite applause. "She's having a stroke. Someone call 911. The word stroke rippled through nearby tables. Heads turned. Someone gasped. But I was focused on my mother, who had risen from the head table, her face a mask of mortified fury as she crossed the ballroom in sharp, angry strides. "What are you doing?" she hissed, reaching our table as I struggled to stay upright in my chair. "Olivia, this is my night. Can you please not?" "Her left side is paralyzed," Marcus said urgently. "She can't speak properly. We need an ambulance." "It's a headache," Mom snapped, her smile still fixed for the watching crowd. "She gets anxious at events. Too much champagne probably." She leaned down, her voice dropping to a harsh whisper meant only for me. "It's just a headache, stop being dramatic. I am about to accept the most important award of my career, and you will not ruin this by faking a medical emergency for attention." I tried to tell her my entire left side had gone numb. Tried to explain that the room was tilting, that something was catastrophically wrong inside my skull. But my mouth wouldn't form the words. Only garbled sounds emerged, and I saw the flash of disgust cross my mother's face. "Excuse us," she said loudly, her voice carrying across the nearby tables with practiced authority. "My daughter has had a bit too much to drink. I'll take her to the bathroom to freshen up. Please continue with the ceremony." She gripped my right arm, the only side I could still feel, and hauled me to my feet. I swayed, my left leg refusing to support my weight properly. The ballroom spun. "Dr. Harrison," a sharp voice cut through the murmur of concern. Dr. Reeves stood at the podium, her hand raised to pause the ceremony. "Is everything all right with the young woman?" "Perfectly fine," Mom called back, her smile bright and dismissive. "Just a bit of pre-ceremony champagne hitting harder than expected. We'll be right back." "I don't think so." Dr. Reeves stepped away from the podium, moving with surprising speed for a woman her age. As she approached, her keen eyes swept over me with the kind of assessment that came from decades of emergency medicine. "That's not intoxication. Someone call 911 immediately. We have a stroke in progress." The next 15 minutes blurred into chaos orchestrated by Dr. Reeves's calm, authoritative voice. She had me seated again, checking my pupils with the flashlight from her phone, asking me to raise both arms, to smile, to repeat simple phrases. Each task revealed the devastating reality. My left side wasn't working. My smile drooped on one side. My words slurred into incomprehensibility. My left arm hung useless at my side. "Classic signs of acute stroke," Dr. Reeves said, not to me but to the crowd of physicians now gathered around. "Facial droop, arm weakness, speech difficulty. The window for intervention is critical." "Where is that ambulance?" "On the way," someone called. 5 minutes out. My mother stood frozen at the edge of the circle, her face pale beneath carefully applied makeup. "But she's 26. Strokes don't happen to 26-year-olds. She was fine an hour ago." "Strokes happen to people of all ages," Dr. Reeves said, her tone clipped. "Less common in young adults, yes, but not impossible. Especially with certain risk factors or underlying conditions." She looked directly at my mother. "Dr. Harrison, as her mother and a physician, have you taken a medical history? Does she have any conditions that might increase stroke risk?" The silence stretched too long. "Dr. Harrison? She's never mentioned anything," Mom said finally, her voice defensive. "She's always been dramatic about minor health issues." "I assumed." "You assumed." Dr. Reeves's voice could have cut glass. "While your daughter was exhibiting textbook stroke symptoms, you assumed she was being dramatic?" "I thought." "You thought about your award ceremony," Dr. Reeves said, and the disappointment in her voice made several nearby physicians wince. "Your reputation. Your moment in the spotlight. Not about the patient in front of you exhibiting clear neurological crisis symptoms." The ambulance arrived in a flurry of paramedics and equipment. Dr. Reeves gave them a rapid briefing, her clinical precision ensuring nothing was missed. As they loaded me onto the stretcher, I heard her call out, "I'm riding with her. She needs a stroke neurologist immediately upon arrival." My mother moved to follow, but Dr. Reeves held up a hand. "Dr. Harrison, I think you should remain here. Accept your award. Clearly, it's what matters most to you." The words landed like a physical blow. Mom's face crumpled. "Elizabeth, please. I will personally ensure your daughter receives the best possible care," Dr. Reeves said, her tone formal and final. "Something you should have done the moment she showed symptoms. We'll discuss your conduct later." The CT scan revealed a hemorrhagic stroke, a ruptured blood vessel flooding my brain with blood. Young, healthy, no warning signs, just catastrophic bad luck coupled with an underlying arteriovenous malformation I'd never known I had. The neurosurgical team worked for 6 hours to repair the damage, relieve the pressure, save as much brain tissue as possible. I woke 3 days later, my head wrapped in bandages, my left side still weak but responding to commands. Dr. Reeves sat in the chair beside my hospital bed, reading through charts with the same focused attention she'd brought to my initial assessment. "Welcome back," she said gently when my eyes opened. "You're at University Hospital. You had a hemorrhagic stroke caused by an AVM rupture. The surgery went well, but you have a long recovery ahead." I tried to speak, found my words still slurred but comprehensible. "Bye, Mom." Dr. Reeves's expression hardened almost imperceptibly. "Your mother has been notified of your condition. She's been here once." Briefly. She set down the chart. "Olivia, I need to be direct with you. What happened at the awards ceremony was not acceptable medical conduct. Your mother, as both a physician and your parent, had a duty to recognize your symptoms and ensure immediate care. Instead, she prioritized her public image and delayed your treatment." The implications settled over me like a heavy blanket. "The ceremony was cancelled midway through. I left to accompany you in the ambulance. The attending physicians followed to ensure you had adequate coverage. The organizers postponed the rest of the evening." She paused. "Your mother did not receive her award. Under the circumstances, the medical board is reviewing whether the honor should be bestowed at all." "Because of me?" "Because of her choices," Dr. Reeves corrected firmly. "Olivia, every minute matters in stroke treatment. The phrase in emergency medicine is, time is brain. Every moment of delayed treatment means more brain cells dying, more permanent damage. Your mother's decision to dismiss your symptoms, to physically prevent you from receiving care, to prioritize her ceremony over your life. That's not just poor judgment. That's medical negligence. My right hand, the one that still worked properly, clenched the bedsheet. She didn't believe me. No, Dr. Reeves agreed. She didn't. Despite clear symptoms, despite the concerns of your companion, despite basic medical assessment protocols she learned in her first year of medical school. She chose not to believe you because acknowledging your crisis would have been inconvenient. Marcus appeared in the doorway, his face flooding with relief when he saw me awake. He crossed to the bed in 3 strides, taking my working hand in both of his. Thank God. Liv, you scared the hell out of me. Stayed, I managed, the word thick but clear enough. Every day, he confirmed. Your mom came by once. Left after 10 minutes. Said she had patients to see. Dr. Reeves stood, gathering her charts. I'll give you two some privacy. Olivia, your neurologist will be by this afternoon to discuss your recovery plan. Physical therapy, speech therapy, occupational therapy. It's a long road, but you're young and strong. The prognosis is good. He paused at the door. Your mother left her number at the nurse's station. Whether you call her is entirely your choice. You owe her nothing. The medical review board met 6 days after my stroke. I wasn't there, still hospitalized, still relearning how to make my left hand grasp objects, still working with speech therapists to smooth out the lingering slur in my words. But Marcus brought me the news, his expression caught between satisfaction and sadness. Dr. Reeves testified, he said, sitting on the edge of my hospital bed. Detailed account of what happened at the ceremony. 3 other physicians who were there corroborated. The board ruled that your mother's conduct constituted medical negligence and a violation of basic physician ethics. What does that mean? She's being formally censured. 6-month suspension of her medical license, mandatory ethics retraining, and she has to resign from her position at Riverside Medical Center. The Humanitarian Physician of the Year award has been officially rescinded. Dr. Reeves is receiving it instead. I should have felt vindicated, triumphant. Instead, I just felt tired and sad and relieved that my left fingers could finally curl into something resembling a fist. She called, Marcus continued quietly. Wants to visit. Says she needs to explain. What's there to explain? The words came out clearer now, each day of speech therapy paying small dividends. She saw me having a stroke and decided her award was more important. That's what I told her. He squeezed my working hand gently. But she's your mom. If you want to see her, I'll be here. If you don't, I'll keep running interference. I looked at the physical therapy schedule pinned to the wall beside my bed. Weeks of intensive rehabilitation ahead. Months before I'd regain full function if I ever did. The neurologist had been cautiously optimistic. I was young, the intervention had been relatively quick once Dr. Reeves took charge. The damage could heal with time and work. Relatively quick. If my mother hadn't delayed care, if she'd recognized the symptoms immediately, would the damage have been less? Would my recovery be faster? Would I have lost those critical minutes that translated to lost brain tissue? I don't want to see her, I said finally. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Right now, I need to focus on getting better. Marcus nodded, understanding settling in his eyes. Then that's what we'll do. 3 months later, I stood in Dr. Reeves's office at the Mayo Clinic. My left hand still weaker than my right but functional, my speech clear except when I was tired. She'd invited me to visit during her receipt of the Humanitarian Physician of the Year award. A private ceremony, she'd assured me, nothing like the spectacle that had preceded my stroke. How are you feeling? She asked, gesturing for me to sit. Better. 90% recovered according to my neurologist. The remaining 10% might take years or might never fully return. I flexed my left hand, demonstrating the movement that had taken months of therapy to regain. But I'm here. I'm functional. Thanks to you. You're here because you're strong and you fought through a difficult recovery, Dr. Reeves said. I simply did what any physician should have done, recognized an emergency and acted on it. She paused, her expression softening slightly. Your mother has reached out to me several times. She wants to apologize to you, to explain. The board's ruling hit her hard. Good, I said and meant it. Maybe she'll think twice before dismissing someone's symptoms next time. She lost her career over this, Olivia. Her reputation, her position, everything she built. And I nearly lost my life, I said evenly. My ability to speak, to move, to function independently. Because she decided my symptoms were dramatic attention-seeking rather than a medical emergency. Because her image mattered more than my reality. Dr. Reeves nodded slowly. You're right. And for what it's worth, I think she knows that now. Whether that matters to you is your decision. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Another message from my mother, the 20th this month. Each one progressively more desperate, more apologetic, more pleading. I'd read none of them. I'm not ready, I said. Maybe someday. But right now I'm focused on moving forward. I've got a graphic design commission. My first major project since the stroke. My client didn't care about the slight tremor in my left hand or the occasionally slow word retrieval. They cared about my work. As they should, Dr. Reeves said warmly. You're talented, Olivia. Don't let your mother's dismissal of your career make you doubt that. I left her office as the sun set over Rochester, Minnesota, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple. My phone buzzed again. Mom probably, though I didn't check. Instead I called Marcus, who answered on the first ring. Hey, how'd it go? Good, I said, the word coming easy now, no slur, no hesitation. I'm heading to the airport. I'll be home tonight. I'll pick you up. Pizza and a movie? Perfect. As I drove through the unfamiliar city toward the airport, I passed the building where the original awards ceremony would have concluded, where my mother would have stood accepting accolades and praise if she hadn't dismissed my stroke as dramatic attention-seeking. The building was lit up for some other event now. Some other celebration of achievement and excellence. My left hand rested on the steering wheel, fingers curved in a grip that had taken months to relearn. Not perfect. Not what it was before. But mine, functional, proof that I'd survived what my own mother had been willing to sacrifice for a trophy. The humanitarian award she'd lost sat in Dr. Reeves's office now, deservedly so. And I was driving myself home, alive and healing, surrounded by people who'd learned the hardest way possible that listening, actually listening, sometimes means the difference between life and death. My mother's texts continued to pour in unanswered. I had nothing left to say to her. Not yet. Maybe not ever.